All right. By the way, not all Republicans are smitten with this idea of Donald Trump as their nominee, and led by the likes of Mitt Romney and some others, they are scouring the earth for a third-party alternative to him. Now, big fundraiser, Stanley Hubbard was with me yesterday on Fox News, and he said, enough, enough.
He's an unusual horse in the game, and I have to stand up and back him because I want the best for our country. And I'm sorry if people like Romney don't like him. Too bad. And I'll tell you, let's remember Ross Perot, Mr. Romney. You see what happened when Ross Perot ran? That's exactly what will happen this time. If you guys want Hillary Clinton as president, then have a third candidate.
All right. I think that's an opinion shared by no less than Pat Buchanan, one of the greatest conservative thinkers, I think, out there. Great author as well. Nice guy as well. Pat, what do you make of what he's saying? That go ahead. Go ahead, but you're sealing your own fate.
Well, I don't understand why Governor Romney, who was the candidate of the Republican Party in 2012 and the nominal leader of that party for years, why he would engage in an enterprise, the certain result of which would be to elect Hillary Rodham Clinton, President of the United States, and give her 3, maybe 4 appointments to the Supreme Court and make Obamacare forever. You know, Neil, that would be the result of running a candidate like, say, that Senator Sass from Nebraska, although he's turned it down, or any credible conservative on a third-party line.
But I agree with you. One of the rationale for this is something like this, Pat. I hope I got it right. That third-party candidate, whoever he or she is, if they ever get that far, like you say, so many are turning it down. When even Mark Cuban turns it down, you know you're not coming up aces. But that it would rob potentially, because the candidate wouldn't be assured of getting on all the state ballots, Texas among them. It would rob a candidate potentially of getting the 270 electoral votes he or she would need to become president, throws it into the House, and that's where you have a lot of those Republicans, never big fans of Donald Trump, gravitate to this third-party candidate. He or she gets in. You say what?
I think somebody ought to take away their box of crayons. Look, Ross Perot got 19% of the vote in 1992.
Not a single electoral vote. Not a single electoral vote. Yep.
Not a single electoral vote. Let's take the state of Virginia, where I'm in right now. If you get a candidate, a conservative candidate, excuse me, gets, say, 8 or 10% of the vote in Virginia, he's not going to throw anything to the House. He's going to throw this swing state to Hillary Rodham Clinton. If she wins Ohio and wins Virginia and wins those states like Colorado, she wins the presidency of the United States. Look, I mean, Mitt Romney is not so foolish about politics to believe that he's going to have a candidate who's going to win, what, 6 or 7 states and put this thing in the House of Representatives?
So, obviously you don't see that going anywhere, but, I mean, ill will takes a long time to heal, and Romney is just the most palpable rage. But there are others who feel it as well, and they just can't swallow the prospect of a guy whose track record they don't know, who seems to pivot, change his opinion. So what do you say to that?
Look, I understand that. President Bush and the first president and second President Bush are not going to endorse, not going to endorse Trump. I don't think former governor of Florida, Bush, is going to endorse him. Others aren't going to endorse him. I understand that when people say, I can't vote for him personally. But if you take and put someone on a ticket, you're saying much more than that. You're saying, I'm going to bring about his defeat, and I don't care about the consequences if I do. Look, one of 2 people is going to be the next president of the United States. That's Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And a third-party conservative will guarantee it's Hillary Clinton.
But not necessarily, right? The reason why I'm not a fan of this, it seems pretty half-assed to me, but when you look back at George Wallace at 68, I was way too young. You were not. But I mean,
I was in the campaign.
Okay, there you go. All right. Then George Wallace got 46 electoral votes.
Wallace carried 5 states, South Carolina, Georgia, and the 3 Gulf states. Why? Because he was a regional candidate. He was a Southern candidate, and he appealed in 1968. It was mainly anti-busing and, of course, anti-Harvard demonstrators and all the rest. That's why he carried them. But again, Perot got more votes and a larger percentage than Wallace and carried not a single state.
But what if someone, a third-party candidate, could do that? I'm trying to play this out, and I agree with you. It would be an uphill fight, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
Could you make an argument between two candidates who are kind of evenly matched, that someone who could cobble together anything close to that electorally vote-wise would rob someone of getting to 270?
Let's take Bloomberg, all right? You put him in the race, and you will have Donald Trump president of the United States, because Bloomberg won't carry New York City, but he'll get hundreds of thousands and maybe 1 million votes out of there. They're all going to come out of the Democratic bag. He could deliver New York State to Donald Trump, but he himself would not win a single state. In order to win a state, you got to have a very strong regional candidate in this day and age. And there's just none of them around. And any of them around, I think, if he's very strong, he'll win some states, and then he'll pull conservative votes away from whom? The candidate of the Republican Party who goes down. I mean, someone needs to get Mitt Romney and Mr. Crystal on television and ask them what is the almost certain consequence of what you're doing, and how do you win so many states that you throw this into the House? It's a ridiculous discussion.
So when you ran on the Reform Party, 2000, right? Did you take votes?
You know what I did?
What did you do?
All right, and I ran the Reform Party, and thank the Lord, my votes, which were small, were the margin by which George W. Bush lost Minnesota and Wisconsin and Oregon and New Mexico. And thank the Lord, my votes in Palm Beach County proved to be the margin by which Al Gore lost Florida. I didn't come close to winning a state, but I had a real impact on the election on Al Gore.
Well, that's my point. But see, that's my profound point, Pat, well, it's not so profound, but that you can tip it. And in that case, you helped and hurt at the same time.
I tipped it because it was a phony battle. But let's take Ralph Nader, who delivered the country to George W. Bush. He got over 2 million votes. He got many more votes than I did in Florida. Whose votes were they? All over those very close states all over the country, Ralph Nader's votes were liberal, progressive, activists, folks, young people. They all would have gone, almost all would have gone to Al Gore. Talk to some Democrats and ask them about Ralph Nader and what they think, how well they think they would have done.
No, everyone's blaming you.
No,
everyone's blaming you, Pat. They said that that George Bush could have won the popular vote as well, if not for you. Actually, no one said that.
No, he lost the popular vote.
Yeah.
Well, I think if I'd have been out of the race, he'd been closer in the popular vote. I'm not sure he would have won it.
All right.